If you feel like you're having to overpay to get houses under contract, or if you keep making offers and those offers aren't being accepted, you might be making simple mistakes in crafting your offer that are costing you a lot of money or the house of your dreams. We're going to identify 5 of the biggest mistakes that we see buyers making in today's market. Fortunately, our team has a really dialed in marketing plan for attracting offers. In fact, the home that we just listed for sale this past weekend had 32 showings in 2 days and generated 7 offers. What we get to see is the same mistakes made over and over and over again that cause offers either not to be considered or accepted, or that encourage sellers to counter those offers at a higher price than what they otherwise might have accepted. So, going over the top 5 mistakes home buyers or buyers realtors are making in today's housing market. Number 1, inspection periods that are too long. The inspection period is the biggest period of risk for a seller in Central Florida's housing market. During that time period, a buyer can put the property under contract, wait 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, as long as 15 days in some cases, and then decide to walk away from the contract with absolutely no penalty whatsoever. No money lost other than the cost to the home inspector, whatever the inspection costs. That's tremendous risk for a seller because during that time period, the seller can't accept other offers, the home is off the market, not being marketed, and the seller is losing time while continuing to pay the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and the other expenses without being able to move forward on their new plans. So, don't make your inspection periods too long. How long do you need for an inspection period? It varies by vendor and it varies by market, but generally speaking, in our market, 7 days should be plenty of time to get a home inspector into a home, get the home inspected, a report back, and have time to review it and make an offer to move forward back to the sellers. So our recommendation is get with a really good, solid home inspector, build a relationship with them, pay them well, and make sure that they're available when you need them on short notice to make your offer stand out with an incredibly short inspection period. The second mistake that we're seeing more and more buyers make in today's market is using online mortgage lenders with no reputation and a poor track record of closing loans on time, if they close them at all. Some of the usual suspects tend to be tied in with home listing marketing websites. In fact, these websites have oftentimes made their money by misleading buyers into contacting agents that they think are the listing agent, but they're really just agents that have less experience and are working on a team and giving away half their commission. In addition to making money from real estate agents buying leads, the other thing these websites are now doing is they are funneling buyers to mortgage lenders who, instead of making a living as a mortgage broker or working for a reputable bank that has competitive pay, they've gone to work with an online outlet for bare bones income in exchange for a steady stream of leads from home shoppers who are tricked into applying for a mortgage online. What you often see is teaser rates that aren't actually available when the application actually gets submitted. These letters come over and there's no way to contact the loan officer that is providing the letter. They're not open on nights and weekends. They're hard to get a hold of. And generally speaking, we really have a hard time getting loans closed with these online lenders on time, if at all. So what can you do to make your offer stand out? Find out who a reputable mortgage broker is in your local marketplace and get pre-approved with them as well. And include that pre-approval letter when you're submitting offers. Once you're under contract, we encourage you to shop with different lenders and get the best rate and terms and service available to you. However, when it comes to submitting offers, you're trying to instill confidence with the sellers and the listing agent that your buyer's actually qualified and can get to closing on time. One of the worst ways you can go about doing that is using a 1-800 number lender that no one's ever heard of and attaching that as the pre-approval with your offer. Another big mistake that we're seeing buyers make that's actually tied to the last point is making their financing contingencies too long. In a lot of cases right now, we're seeing very efficient mortgage brokers that do a great pre-approval are able to get loan approvals in as little as 7, 10, or 15 days. This removes a ton of risk for a seller who has their house off the market, kind of walking around on eggshells wondering, is your income going to check out? Is your credit score going to stay the same? Are you going to get an appraisal that confirms what the purchase price is? All these different points that have to occur and be verified once you're under contract can be done in as little as a week or 15 days, but most buyers who are writing offers today are putting 30 days in for their financing contingency. It's an excessive amount of time, and it creates a ton of risk for the seller, which means if they're going to move forward with your offer with additional risk, they're going to demand a higher price for accepting it. The next thing you can do to make your home stand out, and the number 4 mistake we're seeing home buyers making today, is not putting enough money into escrow. Generally speaking, buyers have a home inspection contingency, a financing contingency, an appraisal contingency, a title work contingency. There's numerous protections for a buyer that give you the ability to cancel and get your earnest money deposit back in the event the seller doesn't perform or there's undisclosed defects in the property's title. So, with those protections in place, you should not be afraid or hesitant to put your full down payment in many cases into escrow. This signals to the seller that you're as serious about purchasing as they are about selling the home, and it doesn't really create any added risk when you have the appropriate contingencies in place. The last mistake, the number 5 on our list that we are seeing buyers and their realtors make when submitting offers, is failing to call and find out what is important to the seller before you submit. A lot of offers are coming in. We haven't spoken to the buyer's agent at all. Nobody has asked questions like, hey, when would the seller like to close on the home? When would the seller like to move out? Would a lease back be important? Would they prefer to have 72 hours to review the offer, or are they ready to review offers in 12 hours? Would they like to take the washer or dryer with them when they move? There's tons of components of a contract that can easily be modified, adapted, and adjusted without creating a big financial burden, that just a simple phone call and giving some consideration to the seller can make a huge difference in the chances of the offer being accepted or the price it's accepted for. So with these 5 items in mind, if you've been losing out on offers and submitting offers and the seller won't accept, or if you're consistently being countered and feel like you're having to pay too much, take these 5 factors into account, see if you can save some money, get more homes under contract. And if you have any questions at all about buying, selling, or financing real estate, especially in the Central Florida area, give us a shout or visit donharkinsrealty.com. Thanks for watching.